Holy tank rockets! Is that an actual good Battlefield game? Huh. Well, look out, Call of Duty. Battlefield is back. It just might be better than ever. But can it escape the shadow of 2042? Well, if this beta is anything to go by, then it looks like Battlefield is on the fast track to reclaiming the crown for the best console FPS out there. Earlier this month, EA released both the closed and open betas for Battlefield 6's multiplayer. And luckily, we managed to pour way too many hours into this beta. You know, when we actually managed to get in.
Damn! You can't keep getting away with it!
Once I was in, I was thoroughly surprised. Firstly, the new overhaul to the UI designs shifts everything back down to basics. It's now easier than ever to find what kind of game mode you want to play, or where you need to go to make changes to the loadouts or sensitivities. Which, like for most FPSs, would take you over half the day just to calibrate to your liking, if you're not overly familiar with how FPS sensitivities work. Although it was just a beta, I was a little bit disappointed with what I had to work with. Sure, you had your standard selections of assault rifles and SMGs, but they rarely felt any distinguished between their own categories. Most of the assault rifles felt extremely similar to one another. Heck, there was almost no noticeable difference between the assault rifles and the carbines. Other categories like shotguns, snipers, or even handguns only had one weapon at their disposal. I would have preferred a little bit more variety to better understand the types of weapons or equipment that was in store for us when the main game came out. But hey, it's only a beta. What did impress me, however, was Battlefield's return to form. Welcome back, operator classes. Oh, how we missed you. It really seems like EA has tried to make us forget the travesty that was 2042 by actually listening to their fanbase and giving them what they want. A common trope among gaming studios. Looking your way, Call of Duty. Once you're comfortable with your loadout, it's time to finally head into the lobby. And, well, I'm conflicted. Don't get me wrong, Battlefield 6 is really fun to play, a major improvement over 2042. It's just smaller than what I was expecting of a Battlefield title. Battlefield is known for having extremely large maps capable of having over 100 players in a single lobby, with environments being capable of being destroyed around you, changing up the layouts and how players engage with one another. While the environmental destruction and chaos is still there, for the most part, the map was drastically reduced in size, making most of the locations we see feel very clustered. It wasn't that much of an issue, but it's still not what I was expecting. Actually, a lot of what I was experiencing during the beta reminded me of the glory days of Battlefield 3 and 4, and just how closely they tried to bring back those same feelings. So, it was a little weird that they decided not to include one of the best parts of the previous titles, the map destruction and evolution. Before, you could alter the map or change it completely given on how much chaos and destruction happens around you. This drastically changed how players interacted with the map and made sure that every match you had felt like a Michael Bay movie on steroids. Sadly, as great as it is to see Battlefield 6 return to form, I did kinda miss these Levolution moments. Sure, the absolute chaos is on full display here, either it be staring down the barrel of the enemy tank that just decimated everyone with the pulse, or rushing through a hailstorm of bullets and explosions just to make your way to an objective. It made any match I jumped into 1,000 times better, but the shadow of what could be still lingers. Almost as big as the shadow 2042 cast. It's no surprise that EA would want everyone to forget how infamously horrible 2042's launch was. And as thankful as I am that this looks to be a breath of much needed fresh air for the series, the ever-present bugs and graphical mishaps I've encountered are still a rather troublesome issue. I ran into way too many of these worrisome bugs for me to just brush past it as a simple oopsie daisy in the beta. Either it be parts of the environment phasing in and out, or just blending where they shouldn't, or weapons downright not functioning as intended. I've actually had it where both an RPG and a grenade launcher just suddenly decided not to work or explode when firing. It might be just a beta, but for a series that's desperately trying to make its way back into the spotlight after one of gaming's most disastrous launches and compete with the likes of Call of Duty, it's definitely a worrying sign. Still, with the way that things are looking, Battlefield 6 just might be what EA needs to redeem the series and put it back on top. Returning to the old operator class system, giving us ginormous destructive level designs, and focusing on making gameplay an actually enjoyable experience is just what we're looking for in the series. Just iron out some of the bugs, widen the maps a bit more, and focus on what made the series so enjoyable to play. Let us know in the comments below, are you excited for Battlefield's return? Or is it too little too late, especially with the next Call of Duty right around the corner? Stay tuned for our full review.